Hello, and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. Tonight, we have a veritable smorgasbord of divine creatures for your listening pleasure. And without further ado, I shall introduce the beautiful bastards. First up, we have a big cuddly bear of a man known for his rapier wit and his protuberant midriff. It's the breathtakingly attractive Danny the GFP. Hello, Danny.
Hello, Stokes.
Oh, thank you. I'm well. How are you today?
Oh, I've been busy doing today what you do every day of your life. I've been running down hoes, stealing cars, and fucking shit up on Grand Theft Auto 5 like a mofo mother trucker.
It's a way of life, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, sometimes I thought I was you. In fact, when I play it, I only answer to the name of Stokes.
Well, if you complete the game, I'm actually a playable character.
Oh, what? Gee, I'm off.
Okay. Also gracing us with his presence is a guest known for such enchanting and jarringly accurate statements as Nicholas Bentner is a fucking prick. It's GC from She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, rather. Hello,
Stokes,
GC.
mate. Hello, mate. You got that wrong. I didn't call him a prick. I called him a cunt.
You called him a fucking prick. I remember it.
I probably called him both.
In fairness, both are accurate, aren't they?
Well, I'm not going to deny that, mate. I'm not going to deny that at all. You good?
I'm well. Splendid.
Good.
Right. Ladies, brace yourselves. Our next contributor is a silky-tongued Lothario, whose voice alone liberates female nether regions from inertia, causing them to stir and quiver violently. It's Mr. Sexual Chocolate himself, FK. Hello, FK.
Hello, Stokes. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Look, can we just get this out of the way first? The correct pronunciation is Stokes.
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 I don't believe it's Stokes.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Stokes, for the intro. How you doing, my man? You good?
I'm good.
Good man.
And I've saved the perverse for last. Tonight's final panellist is known for his hideous proclivities and was recently banned from the borough of Staffordshire for running around a Lidl's with a live hamster in his bottom. It's Gunnar Gimli.
I even love the way you go, Gunnar Gimli. But yes, wow. What can I say? You keep spreading these rumours about me. I'm going to go to Bristolshire and stick my little mezzet in your ear like a cocktail sausage.
Well, I'll stick mine in your ear and fuck what you think.
Oh, I like it. Do you know what? I see what you did there.
I saw what you did there.
Clever, wasn't it?
Hey.
Anyway, I'm going to relinquish hosting duties and give them back to that little scrote over there.
And joining us tonight as a guest, as you've heard him already, we have Mr. James Raul Stokes. Hello, James.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Schnooky Lumps.
You are such a queer bastard. First of all, we're going to go straight over to Danny for all the score updates regarding Arsenal across the board. Danny.
Oh, jeez, this is going to go well after that. People don't realise we started this nearly over half hour ago, and it's just been one person says Stokes, and then we all fucking roll around laughing.
And none of you can do it properly. It's Stokes.
Stokes.
Right, the Arsenal under-21s. They won 1-0 at home v West Brom, a 34th minute goal by old Serge Gnabry. We're now 7th after, I think we had one win at the beginning of the season against Manchester United, and the rest have been shit. We're 7th with 2 games in hand. Fulham are top, and their next game is the 26th of September, which is 1 week today. Away at Fulham, kick-off is 7 p.m. if anybody wants to go. And if anybody does go, let us know, give us a wave. And we won't see it because it's not on telly. The Arsenal under-18s drew 0 at home with Stoke City and are now 9th.
Stoke City?
James Raul Stoke City.
There's City full of him. Oh, yeah. My God.
Just going around shagging each other. And they're now 9th with Fulham also top of that league. Fulham may only be top of one of those leagues, but I'm saying both because I think that's what it was. Their next game is away at Middlesbrough on Saturday. Kick-off 1:30, but I wouldn't go up there because it's full of northern monkeys and you're bound to get turned over. Now, a little bit of stuff about the ladies. The ladies work on a annual league as opposed to a league that costs 2 years. So theirs is like they won the title in 2011, the first Women's Super League title. Then they won it again in 2012. So the 2013 women's season is about to finish. We won 2-0 at home to Birmingham City from goals with Jordan Nobbs and Rachel Yankee, who we've all heard of. She 33 now and still scoring goals, which is brilliant to see. But we've only one game of the season left. We're third and we can't finish any higher because we had 3 points deducted for fielding an unregistered player. Katie Chapman came on as a sub v Liverpool. And so they took 3 points off us. And even if they didn't take the 3 points, we'd only have 30. But because it's Liverpool top and Bristol Academy a second, those two play each other in the final game of the season coming up in the next week. And if Liverpool win that game, they're champions. If they draw the game, they're champions. But if Bristol, Stokes, City, James, Stingy win, and then they win the title. But yeah, it's the first time that we haven't won the title in ages, because the Super League's only been going 3 seasons, and we used to win the other one all the time. Yeah, so there's no Champions League either for us next season, because only the top 2 going to the Champions League. So we'll be in the Women's WAFA Cup. But because although our season is coming to a close with that final game, the women's are still playing in the Women's Champions League. We're in the last 32 of that, and we're playing a Kazakhstanian team called KAI Krat. Doesn't sound very good. First leg is away on the 9th of October, day before my birthday. Feel free to send gifts. If they're not edible, don't send them. And the second leg is on the 16th of October. And if we beat those, I'm trying to think. I think we play a Belgian team or Glasgow City if we get through to the last 16. There you go. That's what they've all been up to.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Danny. So we'll kick off tonight's podcast then by talking about Sunderland away, a game that saw us win by 3-1 and a superb individual debut by Mesut Ozil. For his thoughts on the game, we'll go straight over to Mr. Fuckhanage.
Thanks. Sunderland away. Yeah, it was a good result, a good victory. I was really pleased, actually, having been to Sunderland last season, and we kind of scraped a 1-0, the last 20 minutes of which wasn't much fun, if I remember accurately. But it looked comfortable in the end, and we created a lot of chances. The game should have been out of sight in the first half, with Theo missing a couple of one-on-ones. But I can't complain. 3 points, great performance from Ramsey in particular, who's really come on. Nice to see him get a couple of goals, and Giroud open and keeping his goal scoring run continued. So really quite pleased with that. It could be a tough place to go later on in the season. I think Di Canio is having some trouble getting the team gelling and together and playing. But really delighted. 3 points away from home, Sunderland away, done. Happy days.
Gav, did you enjoy the match, and what did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I enjoyed the first half a lot more than I did the second half, really. First half we was all over them, and Sunderland, to be fair to them, they didn't come out the blocks at all, and we was all over them. Ozil, was involved again in everything good that we did. Absolutely brilliant debut for us. Walcott, I mean, he had 3 good chances. On another day, he would have got 1 or 2 out of them, so it's a bit disappointing from Walcott. Ramsey again, absolutely bloody superb. And the second half, when we was under the cosh, we kind of held it together. Really, it was kind of like a good, almost defensive performance, and we kind of hit them on the break, really. But I agree with FK, to be honest with you. I mean, I think 3-1 doesn't really do Sunderland any justice or joy, really. I mean, they played a lot better than losing by 2 goals. Maybe a couple of years ago we would have been a bit too weak for that in the second half, and we could have crumbled a bit. But so it was 3 very, very good points, and 3 or 4 players that sort of stood out and made a good fist of it, really.
Yeah, definitely. And what was your take on it, Stokes?
My take on it was essentially the same as the other 2 guys. I was very pleased with the 3 points. Surprised that Sunderland set up the way they did in the first half. Somebody try not to laugh at the way you said Stokes.
Yes.
Yep.
All I can hear in the corner of my ear is somebody sniggering.
I'm going to mute. When I'm not speaking, I'm going to mute it. Otherwise, every time it says Stokes, I'm going to start pissing myself.
Who are we playing on Sunday, by the way?
Yeah. Stoke City.
He's a busy boy.
Anyway, you interrupted me when I was trying to give my views on the game.
No, you interrupted yourself.
Yeah,
no, your fucking sniggering interrupted me, and I nearly pointed it out.
Oh, just Stokes.
Right, I shall start again. I was very pleased with the 3 points. Much like the other 2 guys have said, I was pleased with Ozil's debut. I was surprised Sunderland set up the way they did, with only 2 in midfield in the first half, because our 3 just tore them to pieces. But on the whole, I agree with what Gav said. 3-1 was a little flattering, and Sunderland did play very well in the second half and made a game of it. Not really sure about the bit of controversy with the disallowed goal, because a lot of people have said it should have been a sending off for Sanya, or it should have been a goal that stood. But I think the time in which the referee blew his whistle, you could see that Koscielny and Flamini stopped, and had play went on, and had he not blown his whistle, I think one of them would definitely have cleared the ball. So I think there's a lot of silliness around that, and it really wasn't as big a deal as it was made out to be.
No, I think a lot with that one is that the referee blew up too early. I mean, really, he should have let the play go on and played advantage. However, he didn't. I mean, it's not Arsenal's fault. All we can do is play the game that's given to us and go with what the ref does. If he wants to make mistakes like he did do, because it was a ref mistake, then, that's totally out of our control. Do you view that the same, Danny?
Yeah, I was watching this thanks to our good mate Coops, who always has a link on his site for live streams, which aren't just for fishes. I was using that, and I found some superb one on there that was only, I think, 30 seconds behind the actual play of the game. And so I watched the entire thing. I thought Walcott should have just come off, because he had, for me, he could have scored 4 goals in the first half. It was absolutely diabolical, and I think he's been rubbish all season, up to the point last night where he scored that fantastic goal, which was probably the hardest chance he's had this season to score a goal, and he puts it in and nearly killed someone if that had got in the way. But I was really impressed with Sunderland. I thought Josie Altidore, who I remember when he first came and played in the Premiership for Hull, he was really good, and he's a man mountain, and so is that Diakate. Oh, how the fuck do you say that?
Yeah.
He needs to change his name to Graham or something. I thought he was really good. I mean, yeah, it's nice to see Ozil. It's going to take a while for him to settle in, but the thing I've been most impressed about is Flamini just slotting in there like he's never been gone. That just shows how much of an influence Wenger must have on players. The fact that you can... I don't think we were playing this system when he left 4 years ago. I think we'd only just started to play this system because it was originally done to adapt around Cesc, wasn't it? And so playing him there, I think that frees up Ramsey to go forward. And Ramsey has now got the same number of Champions League goals as Spurs have scored all season in the Premier League. That doesn't really mean much, but it sounds like it does mean much, but it doesn't. I thought Szczesny was pretty good, which was nice to see. Still not sure what's going on with the old Monreal Gibbs things. I know I mentioned to you in the week that is there any point talking about it? And I can't. What was your reply to that?
I blanked your text message because I was busy.
Excellent. Well, my point was, Monreal is I think he's the second choice left back for Spain. Now, you know what I'm like before. I had down that Victor Valdez was Spain's number 1 until I realised it was Iker Casillas. So that proves how much I remember about that. But I thought the whole point of playing buying him, you don't spend that much money on a left back if you're not going to play him. Now, I think he's probably a better left back than Gibbs, and Gibbs is third choice for England. But Monreal is only coming on and getting the very short lengths of time on the pitch, which I'm still a little bit surprised about. I'd like to know what was the point in buying him? I know it's to cover for Gibbs, but Gibbs doesn't look like he's injured. And then when Monreal does come on, he's going ahead of Gibbs in the more of an attacking role. So that's something I've noticed from that game and the other game. But yeah, I thought Sunderland were pretty unlucky to lose. Like you were saying, the referee did blow up early and he should have played the advantage, but I'm glad he didn't. But that game could have been about 4-1 to us at half time, and the game could have finished anything. It was an entertaining game, which was the most important thing, and we won.
I mean, one of the things that I think I took from Sunderland away was the fact that we missed out Mertesacker. I mean, would you go with that, Gav?
Yeah, I mean, well, we did miss him, obviously. I mean, it's a bit of a shock to find out on the Friday night that he didn't even travel with the team. And we do miss him when he's not there. Sagna coming in the middle, obviously it's not his favourite position, but he's doing a job there. He's not fucking it up. He's not making mistakes in that position. And like I say, I think again, I mean, I think we ended up the game with 4, left and right backs on the pitch. Just to sort of block things up a bit. But it's just not good. It's just not good when our only sort of option at the moment, unfortunately, hopefully Vermaelen, is going to continue to get match fit and be able to do 90 minutes. But it's not good going into the season when your only centre back option, when someone's out, is your right back really. But like I say, Sagna, he didn't make mistakes, but we just miss his influence and we miss his calming influence. And like I say, you saw that in the first half against against the French yesterday.
Yeah, no, definitely the fact that he always gets he can stick a leg out or put a head on a ball. He's just, I think, he is a calming influence on the defence. I mean, do you think we missed him, FK?
Well, look, you'd rather have Mertesacker in the team than out for obvious reasons. He's a very calming influence, I find now. But the thing about Sanya is that he has, like Gav says, he's done a job. He did the job at Sunderland last year, funnily enough, and he did the same thing at Sunderland this time round. The thing about Sanya, I think a lot of people are obviously very happy with the way that he's playing, but he's not been tested against proper opposition yet. And that's no disrespect to Sunderland. I just mean if we were playing Chelsea at the Bridge, probably a bad example. If we were playing United or City away, let's just say, I don't know how comfortable he'd have looked. So, yeah, he's got to be tested as a centre back, against like top opposition. But yeah, without doubt, without question, you'd want Mertesacker in the team. And I'm glad that he came back yesterday. So yeah.
Okay, so is there any criticisms that we can actually draw from that game that any of us would like to make apparent?
No.
Theo's inability to so many. I mean, Giroud last season needed plenty of chances to score. He's sorted that out now. He's deadly in front of goal, and it just shows how slow Theo is. I'm not down on him. He scored 22 goals last season. A lot of them are in the cups, but it just shows how a player should advance. Giroud's gone from playing for a lowly French team to then come into us, having one season to settle in, and now he's banging in the goals. And you think every time he gets the ball, he's going to turn and shoot, run past three players, shoot, score. Whereas Theo, after 6 years, is still putting it wide, running into players, running at 900 mile an hour into their fullbacks, and then going, I've run out of space, I don't know what to do. I think that's just shown it yet again, because I've said for all these years I'd like to see Theo up front. Every time I see Theo play now, I think I don't really want him up front. And
he can't play up front then.
No, I
think the beginning of the season has proved that. And I think Wenger had a presser the other week, and he said, what are you going to do if Giroud's injured? And he said, I haven't really thought about it. I mean, obviously he clearly has, and he's, we're not that stupid to think that Wenger hasn't sort of thought of the plan. And the only other plan he's got at the moment is putting Theo through the middle. And I mean, how many one-on-ones is the fella gonna miss at the moment? Yes, I mean he's got a cracker in France, but he's just he's not a central attacking player. He's a wide right attacking player, and that's how it is. It just begs belief again. Like I say, we've gone on the fact that we're gone into the season with only 2 fit centre backs. We've also gone on the season with realistically only one central attacking player.
And Bender.
I think it's.
Don't start on that, Stokes. Calm down, Stokes.
I think on Theo, I think it's probably a bit too early to kind of like write him off as not being a centre forward, because he's not really been given a run of games up front. But
he's not a centre forward.
Yeah, but until that happens, until he's given,
he can have 20 games, mate. He's not a centre forward.
I think he could play centre forward, but he couldn't play it alone. He'd need someone alongside him.
Why are you so sure that he's not a centre forward? Because
I can play centre forward, mate, but I won't do a good job of it, and that's the point. Yeah, he's not a world class centre forward. He can't hold the lineup. He's absolutely
far from world class, but
he's absolutely useless in the air. I mean, the only way he could play centre forward is if we was playing two straight down the middle. If he was playing a 4-4-2, that's the only way he could play that formation in that position.
I mean, he's played coming up 270 games. He's played for us.
Where are you getting them stats from, then?
A blog that this little blog called She War, and it's got all the stats and data about. Have you ever heard of it, Gav?
SheWar.com, never heard of it, mate.
No, well, you should do. You should go and have a look. They've got a lovely bit on there. Website, that. Second blog down, it's all about Theo. It's very good.
Okay.
Yeah, but 270 games. I still think of him as a young man. He's 24, but I think I read there that he's only a certain number of goals away from being, what was it?
I think if he scores, like I say, I mean, don't get me wrong, his scoring ratio and his rate for a right-sided player is very, very good. If he scores 7 goals in the next 30 games for us, he's actually equal on goals with Freddie Ljungberg, but he's got something like 50 odd more assists. So stats-wise, I mean, if Theo keeps scoring at the rate he is at the moment, he's actually statistically better than Freddie Ljungberg.
Yeah, I mean, someone did a blog on our Bergkamp Wonderland site, which was put up today. It was by I can't remember his bloody name. Sorry about that. But he's broke down Theo's goals into total games, league games, and cup games, and it just shows that he mainly scores most of his goals against rubbish teams.
Thing is, though, call me controversial here, but I know he signed a contract last season, and for I think it was about the 5 games coming up before that contract, he was actually so good. I mean, he was scoring every game. He looked like a world beater. I mean, people comparing him with Thierry Henry, this, that, and the other, which we all now know as stupid. But I mean, ever since he signed that contract, for me, he's done nothing to actually warrant the money that he was given in that contract. I mean,
I think
James.
Well, FK was having a grumble there. Go to him.
No, I think that's a bit harsh. I mean, I don't get me wrong. He played really well just before he's got his contract, and actually how much he earns and all that kind of stuff. Footballers earn ridiculous amounts of money, and we could be here all night talking about that. If we're talking about Theo Walcott as a player, he is frustrating. I completely agree with that. He's not consistent. Okay, so there'll be some games where he plays out of his skin and he's on fire. Anything that goes through to him, if you play him through on goal, plays with instinct, scores a couple of goals, shuts everyone up. Equally, he has a couple of games where nothing goes for him. He runs into players, he falls over himself, all that kind of stuff. And he's the most frustrating player because you know that he's got all the quality and all the attributes to be a very, very good and effective player. And actually now as one of the most well-paid players in the squad and one of the most experienced players in the squad, you would expect to see more from him week in, week out. The frustration that I think he has, obviously he's declared that he wants to play up front. And I think even though GC made some really valid points about his the fact that he's not clinical, the fact that he's not really a world class or an out and out striker. He's not been given a chance, to be fair to him. The thing about Theo with me though is that if you play him off the shoulder of the defender, and if you've got people like Ozil and Wilshere and Cazorla are playing those through balls, if he runs onto balls just like he did at Sunderland, then you're not going to score every chance you get. But if you run onto balls and he's playing with his instinct, i.e. he doesn't have to think too much about what he's going to do with it, where he's going to pass it, what he's going to run into, just play him through on the goal, he's actually a really good finisher. What's also encouraging, guys, is that he gets in the positions to miss. I know that sounds a bit silly, but when you've got a striker who's making those runs, who's anticipating those through balls, who can get in behind the defenders, and believe me, as I'm sure we've all played the game, but when you're playing up against someone who's going to skin you in terms of pace, there is nothing that scares you more as a defender, because once he's past you, you're not going to catch him. And I just think with the sort of chances that we're going to create. And obviously, I hope Giroud doesn't get injured. But if he does, and Theo gets to play up front, I think a lot of people will be pleasantly surprised. I think those. I mean, he's not a target man, and GCI completely agree. He's not good in the air. Thierry Henry wasn't amazing in the air, but I'm not saying for 1 minute that Theo Walcott is comparable to Henry, but his playing style, you would argue, is similar. If Bergkamp used to play those balls through, Pires used to play those balls through, Henry one-on-one with the keeper, that little side foot into the net. And I think Walcott's totally capable of that. He just needs game time up front. But for me, on the right side, he's effective enough. He gets lots of assists. He does get goals when, and in big games, he scores goals against Chelsea's, against Spurs, against the Liverpools. And I just think the biggest frustration for me that I have about Theo is that he's just not consistent. And that's what I think divides the fans. There's a lot of fans that will see the good stuff about him and think, yeah, he's a quality player. There's a lot of fans that will see the bad stuff about him and think, you know what, Theo's never going to make it. I think that's the divide, and that's the difficulty that we've got.
When did he sign his contract, Gim? Because you were saying that. Didn't he sign it January this year?
I know it was this year.
Yeah, it was around the transfer window, wasn't it? I'm just looking. 4 goals in 4 games. That was in January, and then he went 11 games without scoring a goal, and he didn't score again until the end of April. And is that the thing you were pointing out earlier, Gim?
Yeah, no, exactly. Ever since he signed that contract, I don't know about finishing for a goal, but most games he couldn't even finish his fucking dinner. Seriously. Useless. And I am a cynic at times, because I look at Ramsey and I wasn't one of those people that when Ramsey was having a hard time jumped on his back, because the only difference between Ramsey now and Ramsey then was the fact that he's now scoring goals. His work rate and his percentage of passing hasn't changed. None of that has changed. I mean, if anything, it might have gone up 1 or 2%, but fuck all has changed. But Theo Walcott, yes, he has the odd good game, but majoritively it's bad. I remember
we've got to have him on the pitch though. He gives us something different. He gives us something that we haven't got in the squad. And again, going back to the the worst case scenario, if anything happened to Giroud and Walcott does end up in the middle, we've got nobody who can actually replace him down the right hand side at the moment. Like I say, that's the other issue, and like I say that that goes back to Wenger's favourite quote, one of my favourite quotes from Wenger this week, or one of the favourite stories that come out, with him saying that we're short on players at the moment. I mean, fuck's sake, whose fault does he think that is, that we're short on players? Do you know what I mean? It's like it's a magical fucking mystery that players get injured, or that players have been injured before the end of the transfer window. And a bit remarkable that we sold about 27 or got rid of about 27 players of our books and bought in like 3. I mean, who the fuck does Wenger think he's fucking? Talking. He's like talking to us like we're like fucking idiots. I think.
Thing is, I don't know about you boys, but I was certainly worried when Giroud went over in the Sunderland game, and it looked like he was definitely going to be a doubt for Marseille. I mean, we know that's not the case now, but I think it's a little bit of a taster of what we're going to experience in the next coming months. Giroud goes down, and we're all hiding behind the sofa.
It's not just him, though, is it? I mean, there are 2 or 3 players. If they go down, we're going to think, bloody hell, who's coming in for him?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, Jack is probably another one. Any of the defenders go down, you sat there, you're worried. I mean, we're in this situation because we didn't buy the reinforcements. I think it's purely down to Wenger. I mean, I don't know what you boys make of that.
Well, who else can you blame?
There's no one else to blame.
No,
yeah,
I mean
the lack of strength in depth would be down to obviously Arsene, but I think there's a case here for. You look at the injuries that we've got, right, guys, and they're not just squad players. I tweeted it the other day. You've got obviously Mertesacker and Vermaelen who've come back or coming back. Arteta, Rosicky, Oxlade, Chamberlain, Podolski, Diaby. You can't really rely on, but he's injured. Let's just include him anyway.
No, don't bother.
Cazorla.
Now, no, those 6 exclude Diaby, but those 6 or 7 players, they're not just.
Can't.
They're not just players that would be on the bench. They are players that would be in our team, maybe with exclusion to Vermaelen, okay, because he's had a lot of injury problems. But Arteta's a starter, Podolski's a starter, Rosicky would play most games. Mertesacker's definitely in, Cazorla's definitely in. Do you know what I mean? Like if the injuries just happen to be to 6 or 7 of our core first teamers, now when they start coming back, and they are coming back, and the injuries that they've got are just ridiculous. They're not just like strains. I mean, they're genuine, one-off, unforeseen injuries, and there's no way any manager can foresee 6 or 7 first teamers getting injured like that.
It hasn't happened before, though.
No, it's not. But then to be fair though, James, we've had injuries to a wider range of players. You've always got a couple of first teamers out, you've got a couple of squaddies out, and you've got a couple of kids out. And just to go back to GC's point about the 27 or whatever that we cleared off our books, combined they only played 20 Premier League games, all 27 players. So actually Gervinho played 9 of them, and Manoni played 3 or 4. So we've not lost like a huge number of players that would have started in our team. I'm not defending it, don't get me wrong, because in an ideal world, we've talked about this before, we would have had 2 or 3 more in. But Gim, you're right. Every time Giroud goes down, and I remember exactly that moment. As soon as I saw it on my streaming, I was just like, "Oh, come on, get up! Please don't be injured." So it's going to be a lot of nail biting until sort of the end of December. So there's some work to be done. But I just think when the players come back, we'll have such a strong squad. I don't know what you guys make of that.
No,
I agree. Sorry, Gim.
No, I was just going to say, just as a little stat or a fact, a few of you have probably seen me do polls on my Twitter account this week.
And just on holidays.
Yes, exactly. Lord Hillwood's not here tonight. But anyway, I did one regarding Giroud and whether he'd actually proved himself in last season and what he's done for us this season. And it was literally your standard poll, retweet if he's proved himself, favourite if he hasn't. And for your guys' information, he actually has proved us all correct and right, because he got 85 retweets to only 10 favourites.
Oh, I don't like things like that. I always think they're a bit silly.
Yeah, well, we think you're a bit gay, but we don't like to touch on that one. FK, I think we should talk now about the Gibbs and Monreal situation, and I know you wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, I mean, just further to what Danny was saying earlier, sort of why did we buy Monreal if he can't seem to kind of like get Gibbs out of the team, and every time he's brought on, why is he sort of playing ahead of him? With Kieran Gibbs, I remember saying in one of my very first podcasts with you guys that I love him. I think Kieran Gibbs is a really good left back in the making. The only difficulty that I've got with Gibbs is that I don't think you can rely on him to keep fit. Now, I know he's started well. Touchwood, he's had a really good sort of first start to this season, but I just can't see him playing 50 games, 60 games for Arsenal. So we needed that second sort of left back to come in. What I think has been really good is that as Monreal's come in, Gibbs has obviously seen that, and he's upped his game. If you ask me, I think he's really kind of like taken on that competition, and that's the sort of competition that all Arsenal fans have been craving for. I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather someone coming into the team who would be willing to take Gibbs's place in the team. And Monreal, World Cup year, second, back up to Jordi Alba in the Spanish squad. He's probably gutted not to play, gutted not to be getting involved. But for me, Gibbs is keeping him out of the team because he's just playing much better.
I think something like that's important because you need the competition element. Gibbs will know that if his performances drop, then there's somebody in the wings waiting to take his place.
Yeah, and somebody who's a very, very good left back. And the thing, I mean, I know Danny touched upon Monreal, but I think Monreal is just a very good left back. He's going to give you 7 or 8 out of 10 every week. Defensively, he's probably better, but I think Gibbs offers a lot more going forward. And he's got a better engine on him, and he's a bit more physical, I'd say. So, whilst Gibbs is playing like this, you can't. I mean, last night he was absolutely magnificent, I thought. So whilst he's playing like this, he's obviously taken to Monreal being signed as a real challenge, and this is what I want to see across the entire team, not just left back, not just right back, goalkeeper. I want it prevalent across the squad. I want all the players to look behind their shoulders thinking, do you know what? If I mess up one game, if I have a bad hour, if I don't do this, don't do that, I'm out of the team the next game, and that's the sort of competition that we want. So I'm all up for it. I'm all good for it. I don't know how long Monreal is going to be happy for on the bench, but I can see Arsenal rotating the squad sooner or later, because I think last night, we'll talk about last night's game shortly, I'm sure, but the players looked a little bit tired. So
yeah, one thing I was going to say is you said about competition for places, and I think since Viviano has come in, Szczesny seems to have stepped up his game as well, because the last couple of games he's been absolutely fantastic, which leads us nicely onto what was last night's game, which was a 2-1 away win to Marseille, which was a valuable 3 points. The first thing I want to chuck out there before I get what you think about the games is Arsene Wenger's theory that one away win and win all home games in the Champions League will see us qualify. So I mean, that's the away win out the way. But what did you guys think about that? And we'll go straight to Gav.
Well, with regards to Wenger's comments,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's right. I mean, 10 points generally will get you through. Where we've fucked up the last few years is it's come down to the last one game or last 2 games, and we've already qualified. Wenger puts the kids out, and we end up getting like second seeds in the next round draw, face one of the big boys, and they spank our bottoms. So that's the problem. I mean, it's not just getting through this group. We've got to get through, and we've got to win the group. And the good thing about this group is the point tally should be low, because I don't think there's going to be a great deal of difference between all 4 teams in it. So, you've got if you get 4 points on your away games, win your home games, you're going to top the group, and that's what we've got to aim for. You've got to aim to win, and we've got 1 win already. We win our home games, we're going to go through, and we should top the group. But you can't take anything for granted. We've got to go into this Champions League with a positive attitude, and with Wenger thinking, right, let's play for every fucking point, every fucking goal. Let's top this group, and hopefully, we won't get like screwed by meeting fucking Barcelona in the next round, and we're out again.
And on to game actual performance itself. James, did you enjoy the game, and do you think it was a good performance from the boys last night?
I enjoyed it in periods. It had the quintessential Arsenal calamitous defensive blunder in there when we nearly conceded, and it was a little hair-raising and worrying at times. But on the whole, I thought we controlled the game. I thought the victory was well deserved. I mean, 2-1 seems like a close score, but it was really only that because of a bit of a debatable penalty in the last minute of the game. But on the whole, yeah, I was very pleased. 3 good points, good start to the Champions League. Not much more we could ask for.
No, definitely. Danny, did you enjoy it, and did you enjoy the performance?
I always can tell if a game's any good with how many times I check the other channels. First half last night, I changed the channel about 5 times, checking other games, laughing at Chelsea. Well, only laughing at them in the second half. I thought the game was boring as hell. I mean, the second half was a lot better, but I suppose you have to go at it from a tactics point of view. Is don't go gunning all guns blazing. I thought their best player was Valbuena. I expected more from it's a Gignac, however.
Gignac.
Trevor, as I'm going to rename him. Everyone's going to get an English name now.
Gary.
Gary was. I thought I'd expected much more from him. And Valbuena is someone who we've been linked with, and I can see that's the first time I've watched him for 90 minutes. And I think he is the kind of player that we probably would have gone for a couple of years ago before we had the money to buy the players like Ozil and things like that. I thought the game was boring. The stadium was the thing that was annoying me the most. Did you see corners those massive big towers?
And that cunt with a megaphone as well.
Oh,
excuse my language.
Yeah, it's just absolute. What a shit. I mean, they're doing that stadium up. And I know where the dugout corner is, that side had nobody there because they had all bleeding mobile homes. I thought
you can't polish a turd, Danny.
I know.
You can't polish a turd.
That stadium used to be a nice big open stadium in the south of France on a sunny day, but now it just looks bloody awful. But yeah, I changed the channel a few times, checking up on other stuff. I wasn't enthralled at all, and I did think that because for the last 18 months, Theo has been number one on our right wing the entire time. And so we're used to going down the right wing, and then we've had. I was saying this to Gimli before the podcast started that we've had the Ox, we've had Podolski, we've had Cazorla all going down the left hand side, and I was surprised to see that Moore wasn't going down the left hand side with Ozil last night, and it was still everything down the right hand side, which was quite annoying. And I think either Wenger wasn't happy with the way that was going because the second half he moved Ozil to play in the middle, didn't he? He put Ramsey on the left-hand side, but nothing goes down the left-hand side of our team. Everything seems to be give it to Theo and try and terrorise them. And yes, he scored that fantastic goal, but no, I still don't trust him to do it. And I think they need to get used to try playing down the left-hand side more. I mean, it comes to something when Ramsey is one of the few players we've got who isn't left-footed. He's not left-footed, is he?
No,
he's right-footed. Yeah. So it comes to something when you put a right-footed player on the left wing and still don't bother going down there. You've got someone like Ozil playing on the left-footed, playing down the left wing, and he still wasn't doing anything. So I think that's something that Wenger and the team need to look at. And then, like the number of shots on target last night. I mean, we had 9 shots on goal, 5 on target. And Marseille had 17 shots on goal and 7 on target. And I don't remember it being that dominant by them. So I think we played really well, soaked it up first half, second half went in there. And, yeah, should have probably finished 1-0. But as usual, some of you jammy swines on the Predictions League got 5 points.
No, there's no jamminess about it. It had to happen.
And
I swear that it was me that put 2-1 Theo down first, and then Gimli and FK copied me. I swear you just copy me, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I had a word with the referee from last night, and do you know what he said to me? He said, "Well, it got to 2-0. You boys had obviously won it." So he said, "I spared a thought for you, Gim," and he said, "I blew up for the penalty. I knew it wasn't a penalty, and but I thought I had to do it just for you." So
Oh, do you know the worst thing, right? I mean, I put everywhere yesterday on my Facebook page and put on Twitter, 2-1 Theo, blah blah blah, right? I didn't bother going down the bookies and backing it. And it was 55-1.
Oh, he's joking.
Do you know that the mighty
gutted.
Jeff this season has got exact score and first goal out of 7 games, exact goal scorer and the exact result right twice, the exact result right without the right goal scorer twice, and the other 2 times he got the win right. Only once this season he hasn't predicted the score.
He's the fucking oracle, mate. I'm telling you.
He knows. Jeff knows.
For all of you say that Jeff's not in the know, look at that, bitches. You got it right in your face.
I'd like to see how many of you lot out there would go and get that kind of. He's got 16 points. I've got 6, I think. I'm at the bottom, but I'm just going to fiddle it next week. Everyone's going to be putting 6-5 to whoever with their happy to score first. They Gav.
I've just had someone on the phone. He's now banned from entering any kind of bet on Paddy Power, and apparently Betfred won't touch him. So sorry, Jeff.
Oh dear, gutted.
I think what I wanted to talk about as well last night was the patient build-up and the fact that we took our chances well when they came. The other thing that I wanted to talk about as well was the fact that how Szczesny has been so brilliant this season. I mean, was it just me, or could he have actually been man of the match last night?
Should have been up and down like a salmon.
For me, he was man of the match.
Close run thing with Gibbs for me.
Gibbs's clearance off the line was a thing of. Oh, it was a thing of the movies, but no.
I love Gibbs. Fucking love Gibbs. I think he's brilliant.
It's lovely having the English 5. The English 5 plus one Welshman is brilliant.
I think I was there when he made his debut for us, and like I just want to see Gibbs last the whole season with no injuries, no little niggles. Let's just see just how good this kid could be.
Absolutely spot on.
I reckon if he has a year with no injuries, if anything, God forbid, happens to Baines or that cunt Cole from fucking Chelsea, prick, right, then there's a good chance that he could actually, get in the England squad. I really, really do believe that if he can stay injury free, he's got pace, his positioning's brilliant, and what's happening at the moment where we've got no left-sided midfielder in front of him, he's literally doing both their jobs at some stage. The poor fella's coming off the pitch, and he's putting the fucking shift in every single time. So, like I say, there's just fingers crossed and touch wood and everything that Gibbs can just stay healthy, because he could be some fucking player. I'm telling you.
His debut was again away at Sheffield United in the League Cup
in
2007.
I weren't there then.
Eduardo scored two, and Denilson scored the other.
I think what was his first home game, Dan?
That was away. His first home game was all Sheffield United as well, 6-0. Yeah, so it's the second leg of the Carling Cup.
Yeah, that's the one.
Where Benter scored twice and Vela got a hat-trick.
Can't.
So I'd just like to say as well, one of the things that stuck out for me tonight is the fact that Fanny smothered Giroud. And I understand, FK, you had a similar experience in Liverpool last week.
Oh, cheeky. I had a very productive conference last week. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Didn't we establish what productive conference stood for before this started?
Yeah, we did, but it's not to be repeated on air, okay?
I'll tell you what, Liverpool looks like Spider-Man's been there on a stag weekend.
I'll tell you what, if there's anyone listening in Liverpool, you guys have an amazing city, and thanks for your hospitality. Fantastic stuff.
It's just class, isn't it?
Let's just say FK's going to be fielding a lot of angry phone calls in about 9 months.
Baby father.
But you know what, going back to the game, if I may, yesterday, guys, just to kind of like round it up in terms of Marseille. May I, Gim?
Yeah, no, go for it.
I thought we struggled, actually. I thought first half we didn't play well at all. And to be fair, a lot of people, the way sort of tweets were coming through was like, Arsenal doing this, we're sloppy with this, that and the other. Some people forget, I mean, it's Champions League and we're the away team, and you can't go to every ground and boss every game. It just doesn't work like that. So Marseille kind of pelted us at first, and we didn't have any rhythm, any tempo in our game, and passes just weren't being sort of completed, and we just struggled to get going. And obviously we come out at half time, and they had that chance really early on, the shot that kind of crossed the goal from that volley. I don't know if you guys remember that, and it kind of beat Szczesny, but it just kind of whistled past the post. And as the game kind of went on, I thought it was one of those games. It kind of reminded me of Arsenal playing maybe like a lesser team. Those teams that we knock on the door, and then they get one attack and they end up scoring. And I'm so glad that when the ball came, obviously Theo finished it really well, like Danny said. But even at 1-0, I just wasn't comfortable. And unlike Danny, I couldn't take my eyes off it, because it's those games that you kind of sometimes think, it's just too nerve-wracking. We're going to concede. We've got to score another. But you could tell that in the second half, especially like the second half of the second half, if that makes sense, we grew a bit more confident. The game became a bit more stretched, and then we started, picking them off one by one, broke on the counter, and then Ramsey scored a great goal. So, bottom line, performance wasn't great. The boys looked a little bit tired, and this is exactly what GC was saying about the squad depth, because it seems as if we're playing the same team again and again and again. Very little room for rotation, and I think we could have paid for that. But the bottom line is the 3 points is the most important thing. And to go back to the group game, I think we were touching upon at the start of the conversation that it's a tough group on paper. Marseille, as good as they are, they're probably the weakest team in the group. So for me, it was absolutely paramount that we win home and away against Marseille, because Napoli and Dortmund away are going to be tough, and Napoli and Dortmund at home, they're not givens. I mean, I know the Emirates Cup, you can't really count that for much because we didn't play our strongest team, but Napoli have spent well, even though they've lost their star man. They've spent well. Benitez has got the Champions League know-how. Dortmund obviously got to the final last year. I know they had an absolute mare last night with their keeper getting sent off and Jurgen Klopp losing the plot on the touchlines. But they're going to be tough games. So again, like GC says, it's going to be a tough group, but we've got to do whatever it takes to get qualified. That's your first objective, and then obviously the icing on the cake is to finish top if we can. But I don't think we did as well as people are maybe giving us credit for last night. I thought we really struggled, but bottom line is the win was a win. So I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, so, no, I mean, I agree with. Sorry, just going to jump in on what FK said. I mean, I agree with you with regards to, like, say, we're the away team, and the first job really as the away team is you've got to silence the home fans. And the Marseille fans, they sounded fucking brilliant, even though you could, hear that bloody idiot with a microphone too much.
That's what made it brilliant.
I can't. I mean, to me, that's manufactured atmosphere, and I can't stand that. But I mean, fair play to the club. Unlike our club at times, they got the big banners out, the big flags out, and they created an atmosphere, and their players rose to the atmosphere, and it's something that Arsenal should bloody look and learn. Look, when you create an atmosphere, it's intimidating for the away team. It raises your home players' performance, whether you like it or not. People don't want to. The players don't want to come out to a half-empty ground or half-quiet ground. They want to come out to the whole ground, rocking, making some noise, and encouraging them to do their best. And Marseille fans sounded absolutely fucking brilliant, especially as it's only 3 stands.
Exactly.
But, like I say, I mean, the first half was a bit bitty. It was 50-50, but I always got the thought that come the second half, even though our players have played a lot, I thought our fitness is going to tell, and the game's going to open up, because it is down to the home team to get the win.
Exactly.
So I always knew, 0-0 at half time, I thought to myself, this is what you want. You want a 0-0 at half time. So I mean, alright, it's not as good as winning 1-0, but the point is, you don't want to concede a goal in the first half. You don't want to be going into the second half losing. And you just knew that the chances would come in the second half. And Walcott, as mentioned earlier, do you know what I mean? I reckon you could play that ball over to him another 10 times, 9 times out of 10, that's going fucking in Rose's head. But he caught it well. Absolutely superb strike, and like I say, Ramsey did what he had to do as well. It was, he cut inside, got a good shot, lucky deflection, and great goal again. But we did what we had to do. It weren't easy. I completely agree with you. It was not an easy game, and it was not an easy fixture. And, Napoli or Dortmund, one of them will drop points there. Because I mean, I can't see them losing all 3 home games. That's not going to happen. So it's a good 3 points, and it was a very, very professional job at the end of the day, and that's what you want in the away game of the Champions League.
No, definitely. Is there anything you want to round this off with, James?
I not really. I pretty much entirely agree with what Gav just said. I mean, at the end of the day,
you can come again.
I don't want to sound like I'm some sort of, gushy sycophant. I just happen to agree with him on that point. And that Bent is a cunt.
Oh, we were going to try not to use the C word too often, you cheeky monkeys.
Yeah, because it takes away the
impact.
Yes, exactly. So button it, Stokes.
Fuck you.
I don't want people to think that I was down on the Arsenal performance. I said last night on the predictions league I had us down for a 1-0 win because I knew, and I'd have been happy with a 0-0. I think we played. It's boring in the first half because we just held the game. So I'm not down on the team at all. An away draw I'd have been happy with. An away win is brilliant. Like I always say that we need win your home games, draw your away games. You ain't going to go far wrong.
No, definitely. So with that rounded up then, the main topic of today's show is the Arsenal midfield. We currently have Cazorla and Arteta out with injuries, but add Ozil, Wilshere, Rosicky, Flamini and Ramsey all fighting for a starting place. That means we've got a pretty strong midfield. I just wanted to touch upon this, guys, and what you think of each individual player that we got fighting, because of course we can add Gnabry to that as well, and even Frimpong. I don't know, he seems to be a bit of a forgotten man at the moment. But I mean, who's impressed so far this season, and who should be in the starting 11?
Do you want me to go for this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Go on, Stokes.
Thanks, Poppet.
Stokes.
Stokes.
Guys, for the last time, it's Stokes! Right, personally, if you're going to have the 3 midfield roles, and we're not talking about the wide attacking ones, I would pick, and I'm going to operate this under the assumption that everybody's fit and everybody's playing well. I'd have Wilshere and the Flame as the 2 central ones, and Ozil up front as behind the striker.
Okay.
Is that controversial?
Ooh. The only reason that I would say that would simply be because at the moment Ramsey's playing a lot better than Wilshere.
Granted, now I'd have Ramsey, but I was talking hypothetically. If everybody was fit, everybody was playing well.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, I don't think there's with the the plethora of talented central midfielders we've got.
Very
at the
good
moment.
word, Gav. Well done.
I know. I've written it down just so I could use it.
Anyway, you got like word of the day toilet paper.
No, seriously, that's my word of the day. Plethora.
Comes out with the genius word plethora and then says, "Write it down." Fantastic.
Written.
I've gone wrote it down.
I wrote it down. You can't.
GC. Absolutely.
He sounds like
I
he's
used to
from
like.
Bristol.
I used to like FK. I did. I swear I did. I swear.
He changed since Liverpool.
It
What else
did,
did you write down, Gav?
Stokes.
Fuck you, cunty McCunt from Cuntsville, Arizona.
This is going to be one hell of a boring podcast when I refuse to fucking say anything else.
Right,
Anyway,
go on, GC. Sorry, mate. Go on.
Gav,
Yeah,
just
go
say
on.
Stokes every 5 minutes.
Oh, don't. Seriously, I still have tear marks running down my face from that earlier.
You sure it wasn't some of FK's magical
Aye,
spider juice?
GC.
Hey,
Aye.
Seriously.
You want to wipe off the
After-
mascara, Gav?
And then after 3 days in Liverpool, I don't think he's got any left, has he?
I
Anyway,
wonder how many girls are out there looking like a painter's radio.
Oh.
Right, lads, come on.
we're gonna
Midfield.
have to cut this. Do you know what I mean? Because this could
Can't
be
cut
used.
this part.
No, you're gonna have to cut this out because I mean, one day some woman's gonna take FK to court and cite this podcast and say it was definitely in Liverpool that week.
How can they cite it? It could be one of thousands. We've not mentioned anyone by name.
Definitely not.
This is true.
We won't mention Chantel and strawberries and cream.
All I'm saying is he went through the alphabet before we started this podcast, and we're already half an hour late. So fucking hell.
Anyway, where were we? We're
Gav.
talking about the midfield. Yeah, after my the word that I've written down called plethora. Yes, I did do that on purpose. Yeah, no, it just I don't know. I don't think there's not really a wrong choice really. Once everyone's fit, you've got to have Ozil in there, and you've got to have Cazorla. You think you're going to be pushed out wide left these days, well, in the attacking left role, and obviously, hopefully, him and Ozil will do a bit of swapping about during the game. But I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think Arteta's not going to get as many games once he's fit as he did last year, which is not a bad thing considering his age. Jack's going to get, maybe play once a week as opposed to twice a week, which again's not going to be too bad considering his fitness and his dodgy knees and ankles, etc. Because I mean, you've got to think, Wilkshire's had a couple of years of very, very bad injuries. Diaby's not going to get a shout ever again. As soon as his contract's up, they'll send him to some donkey's yard somewhere or give him a
In
pay
your
for the donkey's
dreams.
yard.
In your dreams.
They're selling for glue.
Another 5-year contract beckons on 60 grand a week. You know it, Gav.
Oh, fucking.
He'll come back, have one good game, and I'll give him a new contract.
Gav's just gone
don't.
like the Hulk.
If they ever give him a new contract, somebody needs fucking putting up against the wall and shooting. I'm telling you.
It might be worth 60 grand a week to see your reaction.
Yeah. Well, children
Yeah.
in need. We should do a Gav in need. Everyone donate for Diablo's new contract.
Let's give fucking that useless piece of shit 15 million quid just to see me go call him a cunt a few times. I mean, do me a favour.
I think if he got a new contract, your reaction would be slightly more apoplectic than that, wouldn't it?
What does that mean, Stokes?
Very angry.
Nuts.
Fucking using your fucking long words, you fucking Bristolian fucking muppet.
To be fair,
Anyway.
I didn't get.
It's called an education.
Where they got their hands on their ears and their ears where their hands should be.
Christ, yeah.
Coming
Honestly, I didn't get a word of his intro. It was like listening to Gus Poyet from Cornwall. Seriously. Anyway, get back to
to
the
say that in Uruguayan, it's Poyet, not Poyet.
Courgette.
FK,
Poyet.
did you not get my intros on account of my accent or their content?
No, just the words, mate. You sitting next to a thesaurus. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you, Sugar Pie. I much
It
appreciate
really
it.
was. And Danny
Yeah.
giving me lessons on the pronunciation of names, flipping up from you of all people, Sagna and flipping Gignac or whatever you bloody hell you called him. Oh,
I don't know after these players we've had on tonight. Who the fucking hell's Cazzola?
Oi, I'm the
Anyway,
one who
so-
says Giroud and Cazorla, you cheeky
Let's
bitches.
get back to midfield as well. Who was saying what?
It was your go. What would you pick?
Who, me?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Listening to you guys made me kind of realise one thing, that actually it's really nice to have this kind of headache, and I think it indicates the strength of the central midfield that we've got. Different to James, I mean, I would always pick a team based on form. So for me, if Arteta was fit, I would pick Arteta to start as the holder. I'd play Ramsey just ahead of him, and I'd play Ozil ahead of him. So that'd be my three. Then I'd have Cazorla on the left and Walcott on the right. Wilshere for me, he actually had a very good game yesterday. I thought he played better than he has, but he just needs to get fit, and I think he's being used far too much. I think, has he played every game this season so far?
I think he's played a part, yeah.
Now, I mean,
He sat a couple on the bench, didn't he?
yeah, I just think, the boy's 21. He's had a traumatic 1.5 years. There's no doubt he's a great footballer. He's a good footballer. I don't think he's world class or great just yet, but he will be. There's no doubt about that. I think he just needs to be used right, and Arsene knows that. But I don't think he's got any other option, and that's to do with obviously injuries and lack of transfers. So if they're all fit and if they're all firing, then yeah, Wilshere's one of our best players, and he's straight in that midfield. And like you say, GC, I think Arteta's probably going to draw the short straw, because Wilshere, Ramsey, that axis is very, very, very exciting. You can't not play Ozil. You've got to play him. Record signing, amazing player. It's all about who's going to play on the left, and Walcott, as you say, is probably cemented on the right. And then to have that the impact sort of players. I mean, Rosicky for me is like a little ball of energy. He's always increasing like the tempo of our play. Every time he comes on, it gives you that burst, and he seems to quicken up our play. So he's a great sub to have. Flamini's going to be brilliant in terms of strength and depth. Le Crunch, as I like to call him. I think
Le Crunch.
Yeah, I think we can probably write off.
So your bed sheets after a night in Liverpool.
We can probably write off Frimpong in terms
No,
of...
it's bed sheets after a night in Liverpool at Le Snail Trail.
More crunch than a yeast infection.
Hold on.
Grim.
Le escargot.
Oh, hello.
I'll tell you what.
My pronunciations in French is better than it is in fucking English.
It's
Hey,
magic.
Gav,
It's magic.
one word, Sagna.
Cud.
Okay, carry on.
No, just say, I mean, the youngsters, Frimpong's probably not going to get too many appearances this year. Nabry the same, and your favourite, Zelalem.
No.
Zalalam.
Oh, sweet Moses.
Yeah. So that would be my midfield choice. What about you guys, Gim?
One of the things I want to thank you for pointing out, FK, was no one's actually said anything about Arteta so far. And a friend of the show, is it Danielle Bird, Danny? She sent us a tweet this afternoon, or she sent me a tweet this afternoon, asking us to
She's
talk...
not from Liverpool, is she?
No, she's not. I believe
Dublin.
she might be from... Yeah, that's the one. Hey, that's a good chat-up line.
No, it
Isn't
isn't. It's
Yeah.
you failed every time. Shut up and get on with it, you
my
perv.
Irish chat-up line.
Oh, yeah, you've tried this and it's
Are
failed.
you from Ireland? Because when I see you, my penis is Dublin. Right, anyway.
Couldn't get any smaller because then it would theoretically not exist.
You leave little Messer out of this. Right,
Or
but
stick
no,
it in your ear.
she asked us what role we thought Arteta would have in the team when he comes back. I mean, is he still a first-team player, or is he someone that, because of his age, will have more of a squad role to fulfil? Danny?
This is my personal little favourite because Arteta has shown what an absolute legend of a player he is. To go from being the Ozil of Everton when he was there. I mean, he was one of his best seasons. I'm just looking at Wiki now. 35 games, 9 goals, 12 assists, and then every season he was getting 6 goals, 3 goals. To go from that position to having to go and play for us in a much deeper role and still score goals. He's only 31. He's not known for his pace, so when you're the players like that, he can still play in for us at 34, 35. I think he does a fantastic job. But now we've got Flamini, I would drop Jack completely, because I'm going to get a lot of hate here. but I don't see what Jack does. Now, if anybody out there in Twitterland can give me, I know the Americans love a bit of this, second assist stats. That's what I want to see, because I
The
reckon
Alex Hleb stat.
Hey?
The Alex Hleb stat.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see Wilshire's second assist, third assist stats, because for him to have 19 assists in 104 games for us is shit. I don't think he does much for the team. He's going to be a good player, but at the moment, I don't rate him. I don't really want him in the team. Every time he gets a knock, I think, oh, God, here we go. He's going to need a bionic leg. So my team would be Flamini in Arteta's role last season, and then I'd have Arteta and Ramsey in the middle, and one of those two in the middle. It's going to have to be, I suppose, Ramsey at the moment, because he's the only one who's fit. Have Ozil playing behind the striker, and then have Cazorla playing on the left wing and Theo on the right wing. Because, like John, the angry Venezuelan, was saying last podcast, he gets really angry when people go, he should be playing in the Bergkamp hole. Now, what I said about that is I'd like to see a two-footed player play in the Bergkamp hole. He said his entire career, Cazorla has played on the left wing, and at some points he was even playing in the defensive midfield position.
Wouldn't Gimli like to see little Mesut in the Bergkamp hole?
Oh, damn right.
Easy, Tiger. So, yeah, I think that I would still give Jack a few games, like Gav was saying. Let him play one game a week. You don't have to play every player. Doesn't have to play every single game. But for me, my main two in the centre of midfield would be Arteta and Ramsey. So you can't have both, because that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you couldn't have them both. So then those two would share that amongst them. I'd let Wilshere have a few games every now and then, but he's so delicate at the moment. I don't want to see him get injured, because I do expect big things from him, but just not yet. And I think there's so much pressure on him. He's like you're saying, he's played all 7 games this season, which for him is just an amazing thing. And again, every time he gets a kick, you think, oh, God, he's fucked again. So, yeah, Ozil you can't drop. Cazorla, we've got no one else to play on the left wing. And then, Ramsey and Flamini for now in the middle.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to ask you guys, and we'll go to Gav next then. I mean, is this the strongest midfield in the Premier League as it is? And if it's not, who is?
Well, I mean, I'm not. It's hard to say, really. I mean, I think time would tell at the end of the year. I mean, you can't knock Man City. I mean, any midfield that's got Yaya Toure and Silva in it is always going to do well. So, I mean, you can't knock them. I mean, I don't particularly rate how Mourinho's lining up the Chelsea midfield at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Mata's probably the best player they've got, and Hazard as well, and he don't play them both together, which is a bit shocking. But like I say, we've kind of got a lot of players that play a similar role, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's brilliant for competition. It must be brilliant in training, and that's what we need to have a successful squad. You need 2 players in every position, and we've got that in central midfield at the moment. We've got Arteta and Flamini that can both play the holding role. Wilshere can obviously fit in there. We've got Ramsey. Arteta also can play the advance and the box to box role. And we've got Cazorla. There you go, Danny. And
oh my God, that was shocking, Gav.
Oh,
Cazorla.
That pronunciation was mellifluous.
Oh, fuck off, Stokes. Stokes. Well, okay.
You called him Cazorla.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna call him Santa Claus, right? We've got Santa Claus and we've got Ozil, who can both play the attacking free role in the middle. And we've literally got 2 to 3 players, of which they can all fit in, they can all swap around, and we're very, very blessed, very, very blessed. Strength and depth wise, once everyone's fit, Wenger's going to have a headache every Saturday on who to pick. But the good thing about that is hopefully we're going to have a very, very long, very, very prosperous season. So at that stage, when we're playing twice a week, we can rest players, we can drop players, we can put a stronger team, in the FA Cup, stronger team in the League Cup as well. Wenger's got to go out, with our central midfield, nice bit of rotation, and play a very, very strong midfield 3 every single game. And like I say, that's including the League Cup games, because we want to win something. And with the midfield that we've got, there's no reason why we can't push forwards. The only problem we've got at the moment is attacking left, and attacking centre. That's where we're sort of, or centre back. That's where we're really dying, and that's where really we should have strengthened more than we actually did in the summer.
Thank you for that, Gav. We'll go to James then. Same question to you, James. Is this the strongest midfield in the Premier League?
I wouldn't like to say whether or not it's the strongest. In my opinion, it's the most adaptable. It's the most. We've got players. Take Rosicky, for example. I nearly mispronounced that. He can play any one of the top 3 midfield positions. Oxlade-Chamberlain can play more than one. Who's trying not to laugh?
No.
No laughing here. Only your accent.
Don't laugh. Yours is just as jarring.
Stokes.
I'm all, hello, my lover, and you're all, I'll stripe you, you fucking cunt.
I like it.
I've done a little message for a couple of my mates earlier today, and they said you sound like a Brigtop. So I sent them another one saying if they say that again, I'm going to feed them to the fucking pigs. Anyway,
you know what I think you sound like? You sound like an inflatable Harry Redknapp.
How does that even work?
Imagine it being deflated.
I'm fucking speechless. I really am. Me to say like I fucking sound anything like that fucking son of a whore is unbelievable.
I merely jest, sir. I merely jest. You've got a beautiful speaking voice, and it causes me to be all a-quiver with arousal.
Shut up and get on with what you're saying.
Okay, sorry. That's me putting my place. Anyway, I was saying that I think our midfield is the most adaptable. I think we've got players that can not only compete for one position, but compete for one or two. Like Arteta can play Flamini's role. He could even play the advanced attacking midfielder's role. He could play the box-to-box role. I just think, in that respect, it's the best in the Premier League, in my slightly biased opinion.
And FK? Same question to you.
I think we've probably got the strongest central midfield options in the league. I think we lack out wide. I know Walcott's not really a proper winger. Podolski's not really a proper winger. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Arsenal's going to play in central midfield, it seems. But in terms of game changes in central mid and sort of like attacking flurry players, Chelsea, I'd say, probably have the strongest options there. They've got so many that they can't even have a good striker. I just wanted to say a couple of things about Wilshere, and respectfully, I would disagree with what Danny was saying earlier. I mean, Jack Wilshere does a lot for the team. It's not always about assists, and it's not always even about second assists. He's just such a good footballer. Technically, he's brilliant. And you can't forget what he did in those 59, 60 games that he played in 2011. And the way he bossed that game against Barcelona was absolutely outstanding. And that's the level that we need to get him back to and see him surpass. But we're only going to do that if we get him playing right, get him minutes, get him fit, but use him rightly. Don't just play him every week and every minute of every possible game. So for me, Wilshere is a proper player, and he's going to be absolutely outstanding, I'm sure. Now I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I think he could be captain material, but I wouldn't like him to be captain. I'll leave that for another day, maybe that discussion, but I think there are better candidates in the team. And also, I've been an advocate of that for a long while. But Ramsey, even now, not yet. Now's not the time. There are better players. There are more experienced and more level-headed players in the team.
Saka for captain.
Yeah, arguably, but another candidate and someone who's being questioned, and perhaps rightly so. But Arteta for me is a very, very important player for the first team. I know Ramsey and Wilshere are playing very well at the moment, and Flamini's come in and done a job. But let's not forget, Arteta's been our calming midfielder for 2 seasons now. He does such a good job, and he's very versatile. One of the things I'd like to see about Arteta is if Flamini does the holding role, or if somebody else kind of sits in, I'd love to see Arteta get forward a bit more, because like Danny said, when he was at Everton scoring goals and all those long range shots, he used to score goals for fun. I'd love to see him playing in a more advanced role, but that's going to be difficult because you've got Ozil and Cazorla, who, may I add, we have not seen play together. And when that day happens, when that day comes, that is going to be rather exciting in the trouser department. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So yeah,
to be up there with Liverpool.
And there won't be a single girl in Liverpool safe on the day that happens.
I tell you what, I just cannot wait. But Gim, to answer your question,
through the lot of them.
To answer your question,
in a perpetual state of arousal.
He'll be running round Liverpool, running round Liverpool with his willy hanging it.
Oh, you guys, I think I'm just going to
Is it possible for one man to fuck his way through an entire city?
I will try, but it's...
They're all walking like John Wayne in Liverpool this week.
Oh,
So-
fucking hell. You're never going to go anywhere and tell us ever again, are you, FK?
No, I'm just not. No, this is-
AFK. That WhatsApp was a mistake, was it not?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. Anyway, what was the next question?
It's up there with telling people you ran over a prostitute once, as far as mistakes go.
Once you admit anything on this show, your social life is fucked, I think we'll say. So the next question.
And funnily enough, now if you think about it, FK knocks them up, I run them down.
Do you know what? I'm just not going to get involved.
Oh my god! Right, so we'll draw a line under that part of the podcast then, because the night is getting older. So we'll shoot over to Danny now, who's going to give us updates regarding our website and all the other Bergkamp Wonderland news.
Oh, splendid.
Yeah, we've got our fantasy football league running, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we've got 1,793 of you beautiful bastards. Which one is
Hey,
this
that's
message?
copyright.
Hey, see what I did though? In first place, FC Abure, managed by Ellis Mehel. You change your surname, Ellis, or I'm not reading it out again. I want Smith or Jones. In last place, AC Phoenix, managed by Yassin Ali. For fuck's sake.
Dan, quick question.
What?
There's 1,800 people on it?
Almost.
I know what's coming there. You can fuck off.
Who's 11th from bottom?
Hold on, let me get the calculator out.
Have a quick check.
That seems to be someone called Lord Gimli, 1,782nd place.
Lord Gimli, you self-important fuck.
Oh,
All right, Stokes.
well, let me run through the rest of it.
Dan,
Go on.
sorry, just the genius of Gimli. Who's he got up front?
He has got Suarez up front because he forgot Suarez's band. Fucking idiot.
Go on, tell them who the other one is then,
Fletcher.
fuckface. Yeah, there you go.
Couldn't score in a Liverpudlian brothel.
With FK.
Right, in second place is Artekas, managed by Ashley Wilson. And third place, Staples FC, managed by James Staples. And all three have listened. No Yids, no Man United players in their team or their subs. Because if you want to win, you don't have any of them players in there because it will go to the next person down because we don't want them. Don't mind Chelsea and Man City. Well, we don't like Chelsea. Maybe we should have a caveat of no Cole, no Terry, no Lampard.
Gav, do you know what a caveat is?
Yeah, it's a convertible American car, I think.
Yeah, really
Hey,
beautiful
Bob.
one.
Yeah, right. And then I've had a little whip round of the player teams that we've got. FK is 238.
Nice.
Take a bow, son.
Thank you.
GC 288th.
Way.
I'm 766. The podcast team is 1,742nd, but that only includes ex-Arsenal players because we can't win it. So
And that's above Gimli.
it is. But then again, I've got players that are all playing, but I think there's one Arsenal player in there, Giroud, as a sub, but he's never going to get picked because we've got Sidwell scored for us this week.
Way.
Hey, it's looking promising. So we shall do a little update on that every now and then and let people know who's going on. And should I do the thing about the history boys now, Mr. Gim?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, we've if you listen to any of the old podcasts, you remember we did a history podcast. Gav was the host for that, and we're doing another one soon when we get more questions. Mark and Andy have gone back to South London, to the Plumstead ground and around the Woolwich area, taking pictures of what used to be the old Arsenal ground and the various pubs that the players used to meet in and had meetings in, and where they used to drink. Pictures of where, like if you've read any of the old books, they go into description of what it was like for a match day game. Like there was a big sewer at one part of the ground, or one side of the ground. They've taken pictures of where that is now. Still looks all overgrown. And there's another big building there where another part of the ground was. And they just spent a whole day walking around taking photos. And they've done a whole write-up on it. And we're going to launch it tonight. Mark and Andy have sent me all the stuff. I've put it on the site. They're happy with it. So when we do the podcast tonight, go and have a look for a tab on the website called the Plumstead and Woolwich trip, and then go have a look around there. And then it gives you details of the books that Mark and Andy have done, the books they're working on. It's just a really interesting read. It's not even that massively long. Yeah, so go and have a little peeky poo and let them know what you think to it, because it's interesting.
No, definitely. We'll move on then from that, and I want some predictions, please. Danny?
Oh, for the Stoke game.
For the Stokes game. Because you told everybody or you told everyone involved in the podcast, it was actually West Brom.
Oh,
So
I was looking at the wrong one.
I withdraw my prediction from that game.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to carry on, the game is actually Stoke.
So are we going to do West? Are we going to do Stoke now and then West Brom at the same time, or are we going to do the West Brom one later? 'Cause I think we need a little bit more time.
You didn't plan this with me coming on, given how many times you're going to have to say Stoke in the next 5 minutes.
I also noticed that for Celtic last night in their 2-0 loss at AC Milan, Stokes had quite a bad game.
Yeah.
It's been known to happen.
Oh dear.
Isn't there a bakery called Stokes?
Stokes is.
That's
Funny
it.
we were sponsored by them fucks.
James Raul Stokes Bakeries.
He's got a bun in every oven.
No, that's FK.
All right, sorry.
Do you know something? In my head, I don't know if anyone agrees, but in my head, I got this picture of FK sort of wandering around the streets of Liverpool like some sort of lascivious Victorian gentleman inviting ladies back to his chambers. Would you like to return to my chambers, young maiden?
I believe you'll find I call it the vault.
Oh.
Hey,
Or are you just really simple, like get in the van, love?
FK, what colours are the wall? Cream.
Come on,
Stripey.
guys! You guys are killing me. This is bad.
Well, Stoke have got no injuries, and they've got Whelan, he's injured, and they've got 2 others, but I've
They
never
have got an injury. The injury's that prick at centre back.
Oh, he's not going to play?
Shitcross.
Oh, he'll be playing. I think he's got a mental injury. It's a 1:30 kickoff. It's live on Sky Sports, which makes a change because I refuse to subscribe to those fucks at BT. Because out of principle, if they want to rip us off for money, only one channel can rip us off at a time. So yeah, we've still got a few injuries. Stoke they're 7th in the league, which is better than what I thought they were. They've won a couple. They've won a few games already. Yeah, I don't know. I suppose I'm going to go hopefully 3-0. And I think Ozil's going to score the first goal. Hey, there you go.
Okay. FK?
I think it could be a very, very tight game. I think they drew with City, didn't they, last week? And Hughes has got them playing very defensive. So if we score an early goal, the floodgates might open. And obviously with Ozil being home debut, it's going to be an amazing atmosphere. I'm going to go for 2-0 Arsenal. Theo to get the first.
Gav?
Oh, somebody asked me earlier today, and I said we're going to win it 3-0. I feel like I'm copying Danny now, but I'd like to say, I mean, with FK as well, I think if we score first, they're going to have to come out, and we've got too much class for them, especially at home as well. So yeah, I'm going for 3-0, and just to rub it down their fucking rugby playing wanker cunt fucking pricks throats. Ramsey with the first goal, and the second goal, and the third goal.
I love that.
And finally, James.
I'm going to go for 3-1 to the Arsenal, and Ozil is the first scorer.
Okay, I'm going 2-1, and I'm going to have Giroud as the first scorer. But it will be nice to actually play Stoke without that fucking baseball cap wearing bellend being their manager. Or
I don't know, Hughes is still
Hughes
a bit
is
of a
not
prick.
much better. Yeah, exactly.
They're both massive, massive cunts. I mean, let's be honest. And I'm sorry I said that word, but Danny, you said if you say it with feeling and meaning, then it's all right.
If you're trying to emphasise a point, then it's I don't use it.
You can't just use it like, I'm going to have cunt in soup for my tea.
I'm gonna run over some cunting prostitute.
No, Danny, we're gonna have to edit this. This is
Gav, let's
so
get one thing
bad.
absolutely straight. When I do run them over, I say something heartwarming and beautiful as they tumble over the bonnet.
Farewell, my
what? Something like
You're in a better place now.
you run over them, open the car door, look out, and go. That's the best lay you've ever had.
No, it's usually something like, "Have at ye filthy wench of the evening.
Be gone now, whore.
Repugnant whore."
I'm not sure whether this has been a podcast about Arsenal or fucking
Honestly.
FK and Stokes' sexual deviancies fucking evening.
Stokes.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. There's only one colossal pervert here, and it's neither FK or I.
FK or I.
Or I.
Get
It's
my
tea-
smoking
it's-
jacket and the
it's-
cigars from the
It's
lobby.
teabagging extraordinaire, Lord Gimli of teabagging.
Do you know what?
Lord Gimli of coprophilia.
He actually
Go
said
and Google that, kids.
on his YouTube vlog.
2 girls and 1 Gimli.
that he did, right? That I actually shit on a coffee table while a girl was underneath it, and a glass coffee table, might I add.
No, you were underneath whilst the girl shit on it.
Oh,
Oh,
See?
this
please,
is, come on.
please.
I'd rather
Please.
watch Spurs.
If you listen
No,
carefully,
it's not that bad.
No, I
you
wouldn't
can
know,
hear
it's not.
people stop listening to this podcast in droves.
okay.
We
Yeah.
were
I'll tell you
once
what
a
would be funny
beautiful
is
thing.
the first time I was on, do you remember that comment you got on iTunes? I think you might get a few more like it now.
That's all right, because all of our iTunes comments have been deleted because we've had to set up a new feed. Either that or iTunes have been fucking useless. So if you're listening to it and enjoyed us, or indeed thought that James was a cunt, then please leave a message right at the
Perhaps
bottom.
they could leave a message that say that I've been quite charming and lovely and you've been an egregious little fucker.
No, I just think they say you're a prick. Danny,
And
your shout
you're
outs,
a
please.
Oh
World-class
dear.
arsehole.
Yeah, I did say at the beginning of this, if we could try and keep the seeing and the blinding down a little bit, and what has it been? I might as well have just said nothing. I thought we were better than this, but I'm
Evidently not.
I'm rolling in my own grave.
Hey, at least I can say I'm one of the people where I've been given both sides of the coin. I've been very verbose as well.
You have been quite verbose.
Oh, fucking!
It's
You've fucking got all these written down, haven't you? You
No,
must
I've just got an extensive vocabulary, my love.
Yeah. Right. So
Why do I find that deeply disturbing when you call me my love?
You shouldn't. It's
Tinkerbell.
meant from the heart, this feeling. I stand by those words. It was sentimental.
GC,
I think
look
you're
at-
an
look at-
extraordinary, attractive young man.
Just look out the window, GC. He's standing in the middle of your street.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm the one
shitting
with the
in
night
your-
vision goggles.
Rubbing
I'm
himself.
shitting in your flower beds. I asked
You
a
lot
question.
are wrong. You lot are just fucking wrong.
I asked
Do
a
you know what I
question on
Dude,
Twitter.
I'm depositing something entirely different in his flower bed.
This is probably one of the wrongest fucking podcasts I've ever been a fucking.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm on it as well.
Oh,
I don't
I'll
even know what
remind
we're talking
everybody
about
that
anymore.
this is an Arsenal podcast.
Not an arse podcast.
Oh, can I get on with it now? I'm
Yes.
losing
It's
my voice.
FK's fault for travelling to
Well,
Liverpool.
Danny,
Yeah.
after 3, 1, 3, 2,
Don't.
1.
Stokes!
Stokes.
All right, come on. Let's do this.
All right,
Right,
so
go on.
I said I've got 3 shouts to do, and my question was, who wore the squad number 10 before Bergkamp? Do you tits know?
Merson.
Only because you read it.
No, fuck off. You told me.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah, so the first 3 to come back to me were Brooms, who is at Boschi Pires. Oh, for God's sake.
Poshy Pires.
Boshiepires. That's probably Perez. Boschi Perez.
Pires.
I don't even know what the fuck that is meant to mean.
All right,
No,
Gav.
Another one was
Sounds like a Greek nightclub.
another one was Guna for Life, which is at EIKE75. Third one was Ben, who is at Fox Rocks 10, and then Danielle, who is at Danielle_Bird, was the first female to answer it. So I thought I'd chuck her in as a
Oh,
fourth
she's
one.
a really good account.
She's
Yeah.
funny,
Yeah,
yes.
she's great.
James.
I got to give shout outs, do I? Sorry, I was
Oh,
miles away
fucking
there.
hell. It's not like this is the first time you've been on for. Jesus, man.
What?
Get with the programme, dickhead.
God, you sound like a pissy, cantankerous old spinster.
I think he is.
Cantankerous. I don't even.
Oh, Jesus. It's like fucking. You'd never win Countdown, would he? Too many fucking letters.
I'm gonna buy you all a book for your book to read.
School. Yeah, a dictionary, please.
Do you know what? I'm from Oxford, and not even I know the fucking words that he's coming out with.
Well, okay. Look, can I do my shout outs, or have you
No.
finished having a go?
I
Don't
really
give a
need
fuck. I'm doing them anyway.
I really need a poo.
You sent this off at a tangent, James, so you make it right, and you make it right now.
If you don't let me do my shout outs, I'm going to sing show tunes over everybody else's.
Fucking just do them.
Okay, my shout outs are going to go to Gunnar Dillon and Daniel Cohen. That's at Gunnar Dillon and at the Daniel Cohen, the 2 lovely people who I am friends with that I've actually started podcasting with. And
Oh.
Do they know what they let themselves in? They'll hear this and then leave the
if
country.
you think this one's bad, you should listen to the one we've already done.
I have done.
And where can we find that podcast? Plug.
You can find it by trawling through the respective Twitter feeds of all 3 of us, or typing three blokes talking arse into YouTube, and what will come up is the wonderful vlog that we've prepared for you.
It's the number 3, not the word 3.
Yes, Gav, you should watch it. You'll enjoy it. There's lots of lovely words on there. In fact, I've dedicated a section just for you that's got mazes and a colouring in section. You'll really enjoy it.
When Gav goes to the doctors, you can imagine he's the one playing with the little plastic blocks on a metal piece of wire, can't you? Instead of reading a magazine. Anyway, Gav, speaking of you, what's your shout outs for this week?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to anybody in Bristol who's got a gun who would like to go round to James Raul Stokes' house.
What's the middle part of my name?
You know what? I don't give a fuck.
Raul. It's Raul, Gav. Raul.
Okay,
Raul.
It's Raul.
Okay, I'll try and pronounce it. James Cunt Stokes.
That's perfect.
Excellent. And who's got a gun now? I'd like to give a shout out to a fella called @Lee Upton, who done this week's Arsenal and Me blog on the website shewar.com. Cracking read. Go and have a read of it. We're collecting all stories about why people like Arsenal, why you fell in love with Arsenal, early memories and things like that. There's half a dozen stories up now. There's going to be 4 up every week at 6 o'clock on the dot for the next couple of weeks, and hopefully they'll make good reads about people's own Arsenal stories. I like reading them, so I hope people like reading them too.
And it will be linked to your website on the details of this podcast.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Daniel.
That's all right, mate.
And finally, FK.
I'd like to shout out to every single woman in Liverpool. It was a pleasure to have serviced you at the weekend.
We should put as the theme music to this. It should be "It Wasn't Me."
Theme music would be something by Barry White.
Let's get it on.
What a wonderful city. A couple of shout outs. I'd echo the first one from Danielle. She's a great girl, sensible tweeter, big Arsenal fan. Get involved. The one that I want to give is a guy called Steve Gooner. He goes by that.
He seems to have died. Oh dear.
When has he been shot?
The STDs have caught up with him.
Oh, let's go and see if he's been. Is he? Oh, he's still there. No, usually she's fat. Oh no, his cord has been dropped. Usually he's fat fingers.
His penis has probably disintegrated.
No, he's currently taking a call from one of his baby mamas.
And some bird from Liverpool's boyfriend has just found out where he lived.
Oh, now it's saying call failed. Oh, come on, FK.
Even his phone's got an STD.
His phone's got AIDS, man.
Oh, come on, answer so then I don't have to edit this shit out.
I think you're going to have to edit this shit out then.
Yeah, I think you're just going to have to do a brief bit of editing. Oh, by the way, Jeff Arsenal, if we're still recording this, Jeff Arsenal wants it up. Our Jeff wants it up for 10:45, so he can listen to it on the plane flight home.
Yes.
If we can do that.
If FK ever answers the phone, I'll give it a go.
Will he ever answer that?
Maybe one of them's turned up on his doorstep and he's busy.
Maybe one of them works for O2 or whichever network.
Yeah, James,
if he is busy, we don't want him back on, the sound of him being aggressively filleted in the background.
Fine Alsatian.
Fine Alsatian?
I don't know, I just thought, I made that woof dog noises, didn't I? And it made me think of a dog, and then I remembered what that meant, and I thought, I'm not doing that.
I think you'll have to edit the part where we suggest
he's back.
Don't worry, FK, we've just established you've been being pleasured by an Alsatian.
I've basically upgraded to Sky fibre optic broadband this week, and it's a big pile of shit.
Oi, I've got that. No, it's not. It's
honestly,
brilliant.
mate,
if you listen to this guy and you want to sponsor the podcast.
No, Danny, honestly, the first flipping broadband that I had with Sky was awesome. And then this guy calls me up and says, we'll give you 4 times the speed, we'll take £20 off your line rental. I'm thinking, happy days. It's turned up and it flipping doesn't even work.
Oh, no.
Sorry, what was I saying?
You're doing your shout-outs. You just said one to Danielle.
Yeah, okay, well, shall I start that again?
No, because I'm not going to edit this. So
Okay, cool.
no one talked about you while you were gone. That was the main thing.
Okay, well, I've obviously eased into it very smoothly. Not, but yeah, Danielle, great shout out.
There's a fucking euphemism there, wasn't there? Easing it into it slowly. FK, the gentleman.
God, I tell you what.
He's a penetrative gentleman.
I need to go home. Right. My first shout out is going to be to a guy called Steve Gooner. He is at Merse10, MERSE 10. Speaks a lot of sense. I love the guy. And our very own Ven Gooner, who just keeps me grounded on Twitter. I just love the guy, honestly. He just speaks too much sense about Arsenal. He is at Gooner_in_B for Bob, C for Charlie, N for November. I think that's supposed to be Barcelona. So Gooner in Barcelona. Get involved. Really, really good guy to follow. Thank you.
And he's got a great blog, which he doesn't do as often as he should do.
This is true.
So, yeah, go and do a Google for Gooner in Barcelona and then go and have a read of his blog.
And my shout-outs for this week are at Phil Gooner25. He's our blog manager, and he's going to be 30 on Saturday. So a big happy birthday to him for all of us.
Happy birthday, your health and safety
Happy
wanker.
birthday.
And my second one goes out to all of the guys who watch Arsenal in foreign countries and get up at stupid times in the morning just to watch the boys play. From India to Australia to USA and Canada, I salute you. So all that's left for me is to thank you boys for joining me and Danny tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been emotional.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Liverpool.
I'll apologise for the contributions I've made towards Smut, and if I brought the good name of a Bergkamp Wonderland down, I excessively and profusely apologise even further.
You don't give a fuck because you're doing your own one, so you're taking us down with you.
Yeah, I'm here as a saboteur this evening.
So that was a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast.
Thanks
you
for
very
listening,
much,
you beautiful
Lee.
bastards. It's all right.
You're such a twat. Thank you very much for listening, and keep it
Stokes.
Arsenal. Good night. Stokes!
Nanu, you Stokey bastards.
Show me the way to go home. Everybody! I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Just the women.
Honestly, what are we doing? Today has just been...
That was a car crash.
Honestly, where were we going half the time? Oh,
Fuck
God.
knows.